So I always loved water, and I always loved being in and around water. Went in the Navy, and then I went through boot camp in San Diego, went to Guam, the island of Guam in the Pacific. Spent 18 months there. While on Guam, I became an electrician in the Navy. Due to the Korean War, mine force, meaning sweeping the mines from the seas, was in top priority. So I got sent to Yorktown, Virginia to go through mine warfare school. Then I went over to Korea. They flew me all the way over there. In the military, where I had been previous, it was always clean uniforms and normal operation. So I land in Korea, where I'm going to be, and I walk in this big metal Quonset hut, which are the buildings with the round dome. I'll never forget my first impression was, I thought I was in Korea. What am I doing on a Hollywood movie set? And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, Art, this is the real world. Because nobody is in a regular uniform. I'm dressed better than anybody, in ragtag clothing and everything. Everybody's got multiple weapons on them, like bandoliers that you see in the movies, some of them like double bandoliers across their chest, shotgun and pistol or rifle and pistols. Wow. When I got to Incheon, they said, you know how to use a .45 pistol? Yeah, I'm well trained. Because on Guam I had learned. They said, here's your weapon, here's 2 clips for it. When you go out the front door, have a shell in the chamber. Anybody bothers you, just shoot them. Well, then they finally told me after 2 weeks, they said, pack your gear, go down on the harbor, get on any minesweeper, and find your ship. Communications then were not what they are today. And due to the combat, it was a lot of radio silence. So I transferred to different ships at sea, different minesweepers. On the 3rd one, I got on one going back to Japan. And all the minesweepers came out of the same port in Japan. And I didn't want to turn myself in because they put me to work. So I figured, well, I'm a free spirit. So I just went into the little town there and I asked around what restaurant tavern was like the home base for my ship. I asked Mama-san, the woman that owned it and ran it, where my ship was, because they always knew more than almost the Navy. She said, well, they just left. They'll be back in about 28 days. I said, okay, Mama, I'm about broke. What do I do? I don't want to go to the base. She said, you live here. I'll give you money. You eat here, drink here, do whatever you want. And when you get paid, you pay me back. Right? No problem. So for 28 days, I lived like a civilian. Spent a lot of time outside of the city with the farming class people and started to learn their language. Then when the ship finally came in and I met them at the tavern, some of the crew, and went back to the ship. And they were happy to see me. They just wondered where I'd been. I operate at night from sundown to sunup for like 28, 29 straight days. So no one can be below deck for safety reasons. If you do take a mine under your ship, it's better to be blowing off than in. So you don't get much sleep. So then we go back to Japan, We stay there like for 2 weeks so we can rest, recover, and party. Well, I partied half the time with the guys, and the other half the time I went back into the country. Usually I'd bring like 3 regular bottles of sake. I could take these bottles and put them inside the master compass, which runs at a very high temperature. So I always had hot sake.